Shalom, shalom, welcome all. Welcome to this day of Isra Chag. Isra Chag ba'avosim. You have to, Isra is to tie, Chag is the Yom Tov, ba'avosim with rope, with strick. You have to tie the Yom Tov together. So, we're not going to talk about politics, I'm not a politician, we're not politicians, we're just keeping the eye on the ball, staying focused, and understanding through all the smoke, all the choshech, anava, rafel, to bring it back home to understand how do we process something like this that's happening in Israel, how does it pertain, how does Hasidus process this, how are we supposed to process this, and there's only one way to do this. You look at the data, and you go from there. So, first of all, today there is technology that works with the mind. The people that have, they can't speak and they're lose their ALC, I think it's called. They have now computers that you think, and whatever you're thinking, that's what comes up to the screen. It's already available to the regular people. We can only imagine what's going on in other technologies and the technology of the machshava, the olam machshava, which means that whatever I'm thinking, we're creating. You have to be very careful when we're dealing here with being connected to a space of well-being. You want to call it emunah, leap of faith, chesed, rachman, whatever it is. I want you to imagine like a sheet of ice, a very thin layer, a sheet of ice that's just about to start freezing, like a lake when it freezes and you go ice skating on it. If you go too early, it breaks through. You have to wait for it to have at least 12 inches or whatever it is, the freezing level, so you can hold the weight and you can go on it, drive on it, so on and so forth. We've created a sheet of ice over the last month, over the last months, the last couple of years. We've started building something very unique, not just here, but all over the world. There's deep, massive awakening going on everywhere. This is enlightenment. Understanding is not something that you can grab or you can buy. You can't buy it. You can't grab it. You have to earn it. Which means that it's self-growth, self-help, going in deep inside, finding a sense of connection from within and start emanating that. It's just like blowing a bubble. You create a bubble, right? You blow a bubble with from the bubbles, the soap and the water. You have to be very soft with it, very gentle to create a bigger bubble and a bigger one until it's able to fly on its own. When something like this happens, this is not here to test. It's not here to, the message is very simple. The message is now you can really see where it's at. This is creates like the water and the oil. It creates a separation, the top and the bottom. It's horrific. We're not talking about that, of what's going on and all that, but what is, as soldiers of Chayala Bez David, you're a fighter, what are you fighting for? What is your weapon? What is our weapon? So we have to look at the data. When did this happen? It happened on Simchas Torah. Simchas Torah, our power is to dance. You got to keep going. We spoke about this, Netzach Choyed, going into animal world, behemoth world, without any questions, absolute bittul, surrendering to what is. And I'm just going without any questions asked. I don't know. So if something happens, something small happens, a tragedy happens, I'm trying to process it, and we get pulled into the grinding, the meat grinder of the brain, of the mind, and get pulled into it, and then we download that into the organism, infecting that with this dark, toxic ink, and it takes over the whole being. But when something like this happens, something so big, so horrific, you can't process it. You have one choice. You have one choice, is to detach from it. But how can you have to do nothing. By downloading it and by taking it in, you're gonna shut your machine down. You're gonna be turned into cripple mode. You can't process. A lot of these videos that are coming out, some of them are just straight up fabricated. And there's enough real ones that doesn't have to be fabricated, but there's some that are fabricated. They're just here to pollute the mind. Remember, you're dealing with a klippa here, with a massive, massive klippa that is here to break that sheet of ice that was built. They're here to infect. Once you download this and you allow that into this hub, you allow that in to the Daled Amas of your heart, of your little child, that's toxic stuff. And that's exactly what the Clipper wants. That's exactly what you want. You want to be, we're operating here. There are some technologies that work with the mind. This is the technology that works with the mind. Your job is to stay very focused. Take a deep breath, release, and start sending positive energy. All these fighters and all the soldiers out there, whatever it is, there's no real fight back. What are we expecting? Some big revenge? I don't think that that's the mahalach. I don't think that, not that's mahalach, that's what's going to happen, but that's not really what this is about. That we can talk about some other time. But our job here is to close that bubble, to close that Shmini Atzeres, close the eighth layer, close it up, and start bringing positive flow back into it. And as you do that, that will switch and that will change. We don't know all the cheshbonos, who, what, when, who is the target, why is the target. That's not the work of right now. The job here is every soldier knows their mission. They know what they need to know. So our job here is to continue bringing in positive flow into this. The people that die, they're Kedoshim. They're going straight to a place. And if we are going to a place of heaven, they're going to Gan Eden. They are Kedoshim. They died for being a Yid, a Mesiras Nefesh. They sacrificed themselves on Simchas Torah. And if we're gonna allow this, as we said this many times by this year, when there is a gravity pull. Now when we are in the gravity pull, we're vulnerable. So anything can happen. This can be hijacked into a positive or to a negative. If you allow this energy, this koyach right now, to take in the people that sacrifice their lives, Kadoshim, they are in a very high elevated place. If we allow that to spin our stomachs into a negative, then we're basically pulling them into the spiel. Pulling them in is just like talking about a person that passed on and saying Lashon Hara on such a person. We're doing the same thing. Our job here is to be absolutely positive. And noticing once again how we attract to low frequency news. Immediately, I walked around Simchas Torah, Talucha, and they're like, how could you dance now? How could you do this right now? How could you not be? I'm like, how could I not do? How can I do anything else? How could I do anything else? There was by the Yom Kippur War or the 6-Day War. It was Yom Kippur War. I'm sorry, it was the Yom Kippur War, and they wanted to put out a fast day. I don't remember. I was told the OU wanted to call for a Yom Tefillah and a Yom fast, and the Rebbe said there is no Tefillah. No, this is a Zman Simcha, Seinu, and we're not going to allow this to take that over. So we're going to dance. We're going to Fabrenk, and we're going to say L'chaim, and we're going to dance and evaporate this evil once and for all, and take the most positive and most powerful lesson that we can. That's our weapon. And for us to activate the guns of those who are in the front and they are, doing what they need to do, is by giving them the fuel that we're able to give them. Inject the organism with positive fire, with positive flow. Yeah, so that's use the technology, and Bezrat Hashem, everything is going to heal by bringing more light into it. Remember, the body is not as physical as you think it is, and now is the time to really, whatever you trained for, whatever you learned, now it's time to put it into work. The chomer is not as real. It's the tzura that's real. It's the energy behind it. That is the real thing. And if you're going to get full into chomer, then you're dropping right down into the lowest level of existence. Mata she'ein mata yoser hamenu. And we are there right now, but you need to lift that up. You need to bring the by filling it, saturating that with positive energy, with positive flow, things are going to heal. How? Miraculously. That's the technology. Trach good v'zayin good. Create with your thoughts a positive flow. By watching the videos, by getting into the fear, you're giving them the koich. You're giving the other side koich, and this is what they're doing. We spoke about this about Rosh Hashanah. Whatever you're sending out, it says betachas apshitas. It's in simplicity. Whatever I am, whatever the light is bouncing off from, that's what we're creating. Now, you got to be careful not to create any more negative and give them the koyach. By thinking about it, by going over the story in your head over and over again, how people were this or this and that and the other, you are giving that image life. And you're recreating it, and you're sending them koyach to the evil side. You want to just completely disassociate yourself from it. So have an awesome day. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will, we're going to have a shir this week. We're going to start, bi-weekly, weekly. We'll see how it goes. We're going to go inside shir style. We're going to, take a mimer that talks about the makev, the pnimi, to understand how this system works, going on a deeper level with it, to understand this technology, and as being frontline fighters that we are, in bringing positive light into this world, into this bubble, infuse and inject this bubble over here with positive flow. We're going to learn that better until you become the best you can be. Have an awesome day, and gesunden Winter.